He was special. He was a happy child. He was a very smart child. He did everything, on task. Very particular, loyal to his friends and to his brother and sister. After he had passed, one of his friends who, had some little troubles was down and out. He came to my house and he told me how Malik really made an impression on him because he tried to get him a job. He had a daughter too. And, I just realized how special he was from the testimonies and the amount of people that came to pay tribute to him. I felt like I was floating during their funeral, but I was just so amazed at the turnout and the people that came to celebrate somebody who was 24 years old. That really,
it was standing room only.
Really
and people
touched me.
were outside.
Yeah.
And Bishop Lamb said he hadn't seen that for such a young guy.
Yeah.
But he was really a nice guy. Like, he was really a good son, and a good friend to many. A good big brother. I still remember minute by minute. For 11:15, I got a call. When the phone rang, I thought it was him telling me he was on his way. A police officer said, "Get to the hospital." So I went to the hospital. I beat him there. As I got there, they were taking him out of the ambulance. He was breathing hard, but he didn't have any visible injuries. He just had a little nick on his knee. So I was in the room with him, and my wife Cindy. We heard that he was breathing hard. He couldn't talk to us. He was unconscious. But it didn't seem critical until the doctor had to rush him to X-ray. And by the time I turned around, they rushed him back, right? And told everybody get out the room. But I refused to go. I said, I'm going to stand right here and watch you do what you got to do. He passed. He passed about 1 o'clock in the morning. And we had to call Terry. She was down Barbados. So 5 years later, it's still difficult. But her sister told her what happened to Malik, but she didn't believe her. She says, "Well, when she heard it from me, she knew that it was real." So after we called Terry and got her to couldn't get her to calm down, but after we called her, we called everybody else. The uncles and aunts, and my mama.
And Marcus was in the UK.
Marcus and Daljai. There are 2 other sons. They were both in right?
Yeah.
They are both in London in school. So I had to call them. I wanted to call them before, because in this age of
I think Marcus
Facebook
told me he
and all
found
that.
out on Facebook.
Right, yeah, Facebook and all that. I was scrambling to call them first. So I called them and told them what happened, and told them that I would make sure that they were able to fly home the next day. But when Malik was pronounced dead, I stayed in the room looking over him. When everybody was coming and going. So the doctor asked me, could they take him now? And I said, yeah. So that was one of the hardest things in my life.
You have to go on with your life, but it's a death sentence for parents. It's a death sentence for the families. And the first year or 2, 3, I had a lot of health issues. I had things that were not explained. I had trips to the hospital where, I had pains in my head, I had pains in my legs or my limbs. I had vertigo. I spent like 2 weeks out of school for just being sick. Some people can't get past that loss, like, coping with the fact that that person's not here, you can't see him. And I don't know about Michael, but I still have those impromptu moments where I can't suppress it, where I see somebody that looks like him or that walks like him or one of his classmates, or it could be Maisha just doing something that, and I'm like, genes and all of that is so strong that she'll do something that her dad did. As a family, our children, Michael and I's children, I mean, they got a brother from another mother, but Marcus and Ebony, they also have had their struggles, not so overt probably, and then overt. Marcus is always the one smiling and happy and go-lucky, but I think that this has been a painful situation for him, without him saying it, not so much what he says, but what he does. Yeah. And Ebony, she has, I have a lot of admiration for her, and I've told her that she never, got help to deal with, the loss of her brother. They're all very close, and the other brother too, Daljai. But I just think, as their parents, we know deep down that this situation has really hurt them. And
it took me 1 whole year to break down and cry. Yeah, I did everything, as his father. I did all the prep between Terry and I. Made sure all the prep, everything was done. Made sure my children were straight. Made sure his friends that were, straight. And one thing that broke my heart was when my granddaughter said to me, "Papa, can you be my daddy now?" It broke my heart. Yeah, but and you can see it still affects me, right? But it took me a whole year for me to have my cry. We got 75 to 80% of these young guys dying a young black man. We get caught up in issues for a minute. When I say now, I'm not talking about us, because we always grieve for our son. But as a country, we get caught up in issues for a minute. Some say 15 minutes. But this issue with people dying on our roads should be a state of emergency. We use other things, not taken from any other thing, because our young black man, again, being shut down, it's another cause for us to say, stop, hold up. We need to fix this. And not enough is being done. Is that an indictment on us as politicians? Yes. Regardless of which government, which party is in government, because these roads are constantly taking our children. In 2017, there was 17 road deaths. This is becoming the norm. And we keep bringing in bigger and faster bikes. You know what I'm saying? Keep having the dialogue of what we're going to do. Now's the time for us to say enough's enough. Yeah. What are we going to do? What legislation are we going to put in place?